And we're live.
Oh,
Welcome.
are you sure? I can't tell. Where's the red?
Yeah, I think so.
Is there a red dot? Oh, hey, I see you. Oh, we are live. Okay. Couldn't tell there for a moment. How you doing, buddy?
Welcome to Proof of Work. I'm your host, Gerald and my good buddy, MattySats. How you doing, brother?
I am well, sir. Thank you. And
Hanging
yourself? Yeah, we got a lot to get to today.
I'm doing well myself. Indeed. The first thing we wanted to mention is our new sponsor. We want to thank Bitcoin Live, obviously, for the opportunity. Yep. But our new sponsor is Shield Folio, and you can roll that clip. Just landed this partnership with Shield Folio, and we're doing a Christmas special this week, and there's going to be a whole bunch of giveaways. Shield Folio will be one of them. We also did a show on the Christmas specials coming.
Christmas music for you.
In the background, nice. We also did a show on the Citadel wallet, so check that out. And there will be an upcoming show on the KeevoWallet on Thursday as well. And this is the big wallet show. So let's get into the wallets. Let's have at it. So, as Matty was saying earlier before we got started, there's a whole bunch of different wallets that are out there, and we're going to go over those. I've tested a whole bunch of these from, hot wallets to cold wallets and everything in between. And that's what we're going to talk about today, y'all.
Yeah, man. Let's get into it. First and foremost, there's different types of wallets. I think some folks know, some folks who don't. And if you're like crypto curious and you're just kind of coming onto this, well, wallet, what does that mean? Well, let's talk about the first kind, and that's a hybrid wallet. And some of them, I've got it up here on my Twitter feed if you want to pull that up and you can follow along. But hybrid wallets. Some users opt for the combination of hot and cold wallets to balance security and convenience. Hot wallets can be used for everyday transactions. So, Jerry, when it comes to hybrid wallets, what are the ones that you've messed with specifically? The pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the best when it comes to hybrid wallets?
So I mean, probably the best hybrid one, in my opinion, is like Ledger X, because they don't let you do any outgoing transactions. So if you needed to make deposits through their app, through the hot version of their app, it'll go right into your Bitcoin wallet, no problem. But if you have to do a UTXO, outgoing UTXO, you have to have the ledger. You have to go put in your code and go through all the hoops. You can't just do it from the application like you could with like Coinomi. You just put in your 4-digit PIN and then hit send and you're done, right? So probably Ledger Nano X. We were going over the exploit, and we will get into that a little bit later. But that's probably like the best one out there. That's a hybrid.
Okay, well, then let me ask you this. Let me go the other angle on that. Then, what's the worst or the crappiest one that folks should avoid?
I mean, personally, some people think that the web-based wallets are safe, and I just don't think they are. That's my personal opinion, right? I've just, as somebody who's been in technology, customer service, futurist, I know some code now because that's how nerdy I have gotten since I've gotten into Bitcoin. Like, I want to know how this stuff works behind the screen that I'm looking at, but yeah, I just don't trust those web wallets. I tell people, you probably do want to go with, this is their old, this isn't the X, but this was their, the Nano S. There's that, and then the more maxis out there will go, with like an OpenDime or something like that. And that's obviously, a little bit more, you have to be a little bit more tech savvy for both of these, right? In my opinion. But they have pretty good security, right? They have high security for both of these items. There's also the JadeWallet. This one comes from Blockstream. I tested this one out. This one's pretty fun as well.
Samson now.
Yeah, this is Samson's product that he put out when he was with Blockstream. Now he's the CEO of Jan3. But this is a really cool wallet. But all of these wallets, there's, like I said, there's the Ledger Nano S. There's a KeepKey. I've tried that. I've never tested a Trezor. My friend has a Trezor. She loves it. But all of these wallets, they're great, but they have problems, right? There's firmware updates, there's software updates. I don't know how many times I love Ledger. I love my Ledger, but you know how many times I've had problems where I'm trying to access funds and sometimes it's not their fault, right? It's the blockchain's fault, right? Because the blockchain, like, perfect example, a couple years ago, I had a whole bunch of Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic pumped to, like, I don't know, it was like 80, 90 bucks. It went nuts.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Some and, move it around and, get some of my cash back and get some more corn. And that year there was somebody did a double spend on Ethereum Classic, and all the miners and everybody set all their confirmations to like 50,000 confirmations. So literally to get your funds, it took like, almost, I think it was like 7 to 10 days in confirmations before.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Now that wasn't technically Ledger's fault, right? That was Ethereum Classic's fault technically. But that's, that was a thing. And then they thought it was an update with them. And really what it was just the exploit created, these high confirmations because they didn't want anything getting spoofed again, right? They didn't want any fake transactions going through. So they put all these really high confirmations so that, that would prevent that. But in my opinion, out of all of these, again, and I'm not sponsored by Ballet, but this is the one I got when
You would like to be. We would like to be.
But this is the one I got when I went to Unconfiscatable a few years back. And I have given away, I think, like 5 to 10 Ballets for free. Because if you don't know anything about crypto, this is the wallet you want to have, right? The only bad thing about this wallet is that it is the cash bearer instrument, a cash bearing instrument, right? So if you have this and, you put a whole bunch of Bitcoin and other on here, you need to guard it with your life, right? It needs to go into your safe. It needs to go in your secret spot in your bedroom, that little hole you put in the wall, whatever. Because once, and I can open mine up, I'll show you a little bit more. Once the key is scratched away, it's almost like the same stuff they put on a lottery ticket. But once the key is revealed, then anybody can, get to those funds. But it is super easy and it is not electronic in any way, shape, or form, right?
Okay.
And that's my favorite feature, is that I've never had any software issues with it. I've had no complications with it. They do have their application, and they can always do the the additions and changes on the back end for their application that's on the Play Store and the iOS store. But like this itself, like if you want to, someone, if anyone wants to send me some corn, hint, hint, literally, all you got to do is scan that wallet, that QR code, and boom, you're sending
I'm trying to scan it right now, man. Moving it around. I'm trying to scan that sucker. There we go.
But that's the beauty of it, right? Like this is offline, right? And you can send me Bitcoin anytime you want. And that's, like I said in last week's episode, right? That's all it takes to set up a business on a mountain in Peru. And, you're selling your guavas, you're selling your mangoes, or whatever you're selling. And boom, you're getting Bitcoin, sent to you.
Yeah.
Offline.
All right. Let's move on to the next wallet topic that we have, or the next category of wallet. All right, next on our list in the category of wallets here, as we unpack this on Bitcoin Live, powered by our friends at Quantum Economics. Desktop wallets. They provide control over a wallet's private keys, considered secure for conducting small crypto transactions, and some can be used offline for cold storage. Popular ones, BitPay, Exodus, and Electrum. All right, Jerry, where are you weighing in on desktop wallets? The good, the bad, and the crap.
Well, again, like I was saying earlier, desktop wallets, I'm just not a fan. There's too many Web 2.0 issues that are still out there, right? I just don't feel comfortable with them.
There isn't
There's
one
some
at all that you would like go, or you just think they're
I
all
mean,
top garbage?
Atomic is okay, but again, I've had problems with Atomic, right? I mean, it's a great hot wallet, and they have a desktop version now, and it's very nice. But perfect example, I was sending some Monero to Atomic's. Yeah,
You can't say that.
yeah,
It's private.
it's illegal. But I tried to send some Monero to my Atomic wallet, and they never did the last blockchain update that Monero did, and they were like, "Whatever, we're not doing it." And that, like, almost a whole Monero is just like in
Gone, sitting
limbo.
there.
It's in limbo verse.
In the ether.
Yeah,
It's in the
exactly.
ether.
So again, things I don't like about those types of wallets. Again, I tell people I've used, as you can clearly see, I've used many of these types of devices.
Yeah. That's why we're asking you, man.
Exactly. And if you want grandma to never have problems, that's the way to go. Right.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the next category of wallets that we have. Hit it. Okay, the next category we have up is web wallets, often hosted by crypto exchanges like Coinbase. User-friendly, convenient for quick transactions, but they are the least secure and vulnerable to hacking. Coinbase, MetaMask, and Guarda. All right, Jerry, I think we kind of know where you're going to come in on this one. But when it comes to web wallets, what can you say? The good, the bad, the ugly, and the crap.
So yeah, all of these exchanges, the first thing, obviously they try and make it very user friendly. So that's the win with like Coinbase and crypto.com and all of those really nice iOS smooth as glass UX and UI. It makes it super duper easy to understand and use and utilize. The bad thing is, yes, there is easier to exploit, and not only that, you don't own the keys, right? So if there's ever a problem with that exchange, whether it's literally they don't have the funds or they're just having technical issues, right? Coinbase happens all the time. Sorry, having technical issues. They show the little picture with the gear spinning. So, I always tell people I use those things regularly, right? I was just in my crypto.com wallet last night looking at stuff. But you have to realize if they go out of business or they're having technical issues, you're SOL, right? You're just you're shit out of luck. You're just going to be sitting there and you can't make a move, right? And that's the problem. Like anytime, people, like, I know I talk a lot of smack on Solana, but this is why I do talk smack on Solana is because, and I do own Solana products, but if I can't utilize the chain, then it's totally useless, right?
Right.
And if I have to make a big move, and let's just say I have, and this is just all hypotheticals. Let's just say I have 1,000 Solana, and that it goes offline again, and it pumps to $400. Well, guess what? You're going to want to liquidate some of that position, and if you can't, again, the confidence in your chain is lost, and then people then start to move. They become a maxi, or they become, a proof of worker like me. I think there's a new term. I was watching a show. What was it? Just the other week, the guy was coming up. Oh, a Nakamotoist. So basically what that means is you are somebody who believes in proof of work blockchains, right? And that's where I have now believe, like, if there isn't a mining element, I'm not as bullish as your, long term. And there's many
Yeah.
reasons. We can get into that in probably a whole nother show.
Sure. One piece of advice that I saw from our friend out there on the crypto Twitter or whatever they call it now, Phoebo Swaney. If you follow Phoebo, you know Phoebo, super smart. I would suggest you follow. And Phoebo had a really great analogy when it came to the wallets, and especially with Ledger and all this stuff. And I think this is a really just solid piece of advice when it comes to, if you're going to be trading crypto of any kind, have different wallets for your different assets, like bucket allocation. Have one wallet that you don't even put online, like that's my cold storage wallet. Have another wallet that's like your shitcoin wallet. Have another wallet that you use for like swaps and NFTs, so that way you don't have to really worry if one of your wallets gets compromised. Well, that's my fuck around, have fun. I'm sorry, can I say that?
Yeah, you can.
I don't know. Anyway, I shouldn't swear, but you know what I mean. That's your mess around, have fun wallet, you know? And so that way, again, it's asset allocation, just like they do in TradFi. They have different buckets, right? No different here. And that's just some really good strategy from Phoebo. And I think folks like Monty Greenspan at QE would recommend that. You got to have asset allocation and diversify. And that also offers security.
I agree. I totally agree with that position. You don't want to intermingle stuff, especially if you're like an NFT person, and you have a really nice kind of collection, right? Like you do have some punks, and it's a very valuable collection. You don't want that to be on on MetaMask, right? You don't want that to be on Rainbow Wallet, and I trust Rainbow Wallet more than I trust MetaMask. But you don't want that to be there, right? You want those punks to be on your ledger, right? If you can do, if you know what you're doing, like put them in, lock them away where they're safe. Because again, there's always going to be the scammers out there finding the loopholes. And just like we were talking 5-10 minutes ago, this scammer basically phished a Ledger employee's node, and that's how he got access to these dApps, like their libraries and stuff. And that's what precipitated the Ledger exploit, was a phishing exploitation. And again, even though crypto crime is a thing, Elizabeth Warren will have you think it is like 80-20 split, right? Like 80% of the crime in the world is done with Bitcoin. It's like, girlfriend, this is one of the biggest lies and fallacies you will put out there, right? I said this a couple years ago, in I think it was like 2019, and I was doing some analysis on crypto crime, and I was like, wait a second, it went down again? I was like, watch, next year you're going to see crypto crime even go down even more. And it did, percentage wise. Now, as volume wise, yes, it went up, but percentage wise, it's less than 2% of crime. So Elizabeth Warren I want you to think that there's people out in the Saudi Arabian desert buying M60s with Bitcoin. You're tripping balls. Right.
All right, let's move on to our next category of wallets as we unpack them here on Bitcoin Live. Let's go. All right, mobile wallets, access through a mobile app, convenient for transactions on the go, ease of use, only secure as your phone. Popular wallets include BitPay, Edge, Trust, Electrum, and blockchain. Sorry, Electrum. Do you use a mobile wallet, and if so, which one?
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of mobile wallets out there these days, and I've tested dozens and dozens and dozens of them. Coinomi still makes a really nice, easy to use hot wallet. It's pretty straightforward. You can put a password on there. I highly recommend putting a complex password on there. And by complex, I mean, when I say that, I mean uppercase, lowercase, more than 11 characters, right?
So not password 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yes. Do not do that.
Let me change that. Hold on.
Go back.
I better change mine.
And
changing it right now.
And it's 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, those are still the most used passwords in the world. Password 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the criminals know this, right? Like they know this. They literally have a list of like, here's the top 10 passwords, and they literally just they brute force with those, and guess what? 9 times out of 10 they work. So
Is there a mobile wallet that folks should just steer clear of that is just hot garbage? What's the one that if you have it on your phone, get it off?
Oh wow, that's a good one. I mean,
Clever Wallet.
oh, I mean,
I'm kidding, maybe not.
no. I've seen probably worse than that. I'm trying. I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
You want to come back to it? You want to come
Yeah,
back to it?
yeah.
We'll move on to the next category.
Well, yeah, I wanted to
unpacking
say the ones that I
wallets.
use. So, like the Coinomi, I use kind of for like Bitcoin and like Bitcoin stuff, like mostly Bitcoin. You can add ETH on there, etc. If for Ethereum though, for ERC20s and NFTs, I like the Rainbow wallet. It's super duper easy to use. They have biometrics still on it, right? And I always tell people, you want to use biometrics. And over facial recognition, even though facial recognition is a form of biometrics, you want to use hardened biometrics, which is your fingerprint, right? And yes, it's hardened. Like just there's only 2 of your thumbs, right? There's only 2 of them. That's it. You're right. I tell people if you are in your 20s, 30s, or 40s now, there's probably somewhere between 10,000 to 100,000 different high resolution pictures of your face. And I have many videos on YouTube of girlfriends breaking into their boyfriends' iPhones with literally a picture on their phone, and they just literally go up to their phone and boop, and it unlocks their phone. So again, facial recognition is not safe, right? If you are going to be using hot wallets on your phone, please have a complex password on that hot wallet or turn on your biometric thumbprint scanner. This is why Google and Apple are adding thumbprint scanners back into their models. I wonder why. Yeah, I did email Tim Cook about 2 years ago during the pandemic to warn him about this. I said, yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm glad he finally read your email and is doing something about it.
Thank you.
It's guys like you, Jer. All right, we'll move on to the next topic or the next category in our hardware wallets. Let's go. That is the next category. It is hardware wallets. Physical devices like USB drives, good for cold storage and offline. Highly secure. They are immune to online hacking threats. Popular hardware wallets. We kind of talked about Ledger, Trezor, and Cold Card. Kind of covered some of this already, Jared. But again, when it comes to the hardware wallets, you're a big fan of Ledger?
Yeah, I mean, I do like Ledger. But I'm telling you, this is all I use now. I'm not kidding. All I use is Ballet.
Wallet?
Yep, because I don't have problems. I've had problems with all these other electronic wallets, whether, like I said, it's either blockchain related, firmware related, software update related, whatever the case may be.
I think that's the thing right there where, you know, this is kind of maybe more advanced. If you actually have a hardware wallet, you're probably a little bit more than a beginner in this space. And that's the thing where, you know, understanding those firmware updates and whatnot. And I'll tell you a personal experience. Not that long ago, I was moving a little bit of some crypto, whatever I had. I don't know what it was, but it was on my Ledger, and I didn't update the firmware, right? And so I sent the transaction, and it never confirmed, and it just sat there. And I'm like, and then fortunately somebody smarter than me out there on the World Wide Web said, hey man, you want to try rebooting and installing the firmware update? Might help. Sure enough, man, reinstalled that firmware update. Boom, my transaction went through, and there it was done. So it's those small things like that. And sometimes I don't know if you even know about it. If you're not paying attention, you might not know.
Yeah. And again, you know, if you're brand new to Bitcoin and crypto, you know, trying to set up, a ledger or a Jade, right? You have to know a little bit about cryptography, right? I usually tell people you kind of feel like a secret agent, right? When you're setting one of these up, right? You feel like James Bond. You have to know some ish. But for Ballet, you don't, right? You literally, you scan that QR code, you download the app, you're done. That's it. There's no rocket science involved. If you know how to
And it's
scan
kind
a
of,
QR
but hold
code,
on. Ballet has to be able to distinguish between the different networks and the chains, right? So, I mean, you just can't like download it and like, oh, I'm going to send Ethereum to it and it's going to accept it. You've got to have the information, the data has to be within that device to receive it, correct?
correct. So, like this one is a Bitcoin like designed one, right? So, this QR code goes directly to the Bitcoin wallet. When you download the application, obviously, you know, the top of the list is Bitcoin because this one is a Bitcoin one. They do have Litecoin ones and other as well. And then once you download the application, you can activate the chains you want to activate.
The other ones, right? Okay.
Correct. And once those chains are activated, then you have addresses to them as well. It is very secure. I know there's people that think it's not secure. Like I said, it is cash bearing instrument. So, you know, you do want to store it in a safe place. You know, as soon as you put some, you know, valuable Bitcoin on here, you do want it to go into a safety deposit box, your safe, your secret spot, whatever. Because again, if somebody gets it and you have 10 Bitcoin on here, it's their 10 Bitcoin. That's the bad part. Again, if that scares you, then yeah, you need to upgrade to that level, right? And again, there's still there is exploits out there that I've seen people get around, but it's usually because it's older software, right? The person hasn't updated. But it's very rare. It's very rare. You have to have the instrument. The person has to have a lot of experience, knowledge, and hardware, software, etc. But I have, you know, seen people get into those wallets. But again, it's way safer than just having it sit on an exchange, which is what the majority of people do, right? Having it sit on and what's funny is now you can remove these funds from Robinhood, right? Now Robinhood's giving you actual wallets, and there's still people that leave it on Robinhood. I'm like, I'm like, get it off there. Like for somebody who's lost all of their life savings in Celsius, right? Let me repeat this. Lost almost all, not all of them because I'm not a complete moron, but 80% of my life savings, like a half a Bitcoin is in there, right? Half a Bitcoin. That's a lot of corn. Several Ethereum, like 30 plus Litecoin, like over 1,000 Matic. Oh, the portfolio is dope as heck. But guess what?
It was.
Yeah, exactly. Was. And
thanks, Alex.
Yeah, thanks, Alex, and the douchebag. I knew it when they took away BitGo, right, as their custodian, as their key custodian, and switched to this other team. That should have been my telltale sign to get the heck out of Dodge, but I didn't. I did take some of my Bitcoin. Yep, I did take some of my Bitcoin back because I did have a whole Bitcoin on there. So my instincts were correct, but I should have rolled with my gut feeling when and I'll tell the story really quickly. I was going to take a $10,000 loan because it's my damn money. And
of course,
I was like, okay, 10K, that's not a lot because I have a whole Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was around $50,000, $40,000. They're like, you don't have enough collateral. Huh? I have a 0.997 Bitcoin in there, and Bitcoin's like around $60,000 or $70,000. Yeah, there's plenty of collateral. And I called them out for this, and then 2 days later, they sent me all these like apologetic emails. Oh, Mr. Vanna, you can take out a loan. We can help you. Da-da-da. Yeah, why all the backpedaling all of a sudden, right? But again, take it from somebody like me who's lost most of their life savings in, one of these clown incidents like FTX and the others. Protect your own assets, right? That's being your own bank. Mashinsky's lines, be your own bank. Well, I don't need you, Alex. I will be my own bank, right?
Well, there's a lot to uncover and unpack here. And again, I've got a thread on Twitter when it comes to various types of crypto wallets out there. And you can decide what's right for you and your skill level and where you're at. One thing, thanks for bringing it up here, Nick. You got a shot of my Twitter feed. On just a side note, this came out today, and this caught my attention. And thank you for bringing this up. Proof that the days of the Bitcoin Spot ETF are so close. This new commercial from Bitwise just released, and it features somebody we all know, the most interesting man in the world. Check this out.
You know what's interesting these days? Bitcoin. Look for Bitwise, my friends.
It's already starting. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So last night,
oh my gosh.
If you don't know that Martini guy, there's some people, that think he's a scammer. And what's funny is I laugh at those people because if you watch the early That Martini Guy videos, he called out all the scammers from like 2017, 2018, 2020. He stopped doing it because now he's like a professional day trader, a crypto day trader. And like he literally made like $1 million in like 4 weeks after that last pump. That's how good this guy is. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah. Again, protect your own assets, right? The newest thing from all of these clowns out there, right? And again, don't trust maxis. Don't trust anyone. You trust yourself, right?
Yeah.
But the newest thing is these banks in another year or less than a year or 24 months or so, they're like, we'll hold your Bitcoin for you. Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
Don't fucking do it, right? That's what this is for. End of story. Because that is Celsius 2.0 right there.
It is. That is Celsius 2.0. They saw what Mashinsky was able to do and the crazy yields that he was offering, right? And yeah, it's outsourcing responsibility, as Nick says behind the scenes here. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But they're going to do this, though. They're going to say, hey, man, let us custody your Bitcoin. We already know from the CFTC and the who was it? The FDIC. They put out that document 2 years ago outlining the ramifications and some sort of loose guidelines and parameters of what it would take for traditional financial institutions to custody Bitcoin and then fractional reserve the shit out of it. They'll do the same thing. And they'll give you shitty shit coins, CBDCs in return.
Yeah. Here's your CBDC.
What, you want your corn back? Yeah.
Yep. We don't have it. We don't have it.
Yeah.
It's gone. Yeah. Poof. And it's gone.
Yeah.
So
something else that last week you were talking about Suriname and the Republic of Suriname. News just yesterday, our good friend Samson Mao over there at Jan 3, looks like Suriname, I've got the tweet up here if you want to put it up, in South America, considering a national Bitcoin strategy, Jer.
Yeah, again, all signs point to the gears are lining up for hyper Bitcoinization. That's the whole point of Jan 3, right? That's the whole, that's literally their whole business model is literally they are the catalyst to hyper Bitcoinization. And again, this is something I've been saying since I think it was May. My tweet, I don't think I have it up. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But I stated, I was like, there is a big country mining Bitcoin, and it's not Bhutan, right?
Yeah,
and they're not the only ones, right? There's many, many countries in South America. There's many, many countries in Africa that are starting to realize, that this economic colonialism that the U.S. has imposed upon these countries for over 50 to 75 years, it's coming to an end, right? And they get it. They're
Mhm.
not stupid. They understand the basics of economics, and the dollar, most of these goods and services, these capital goods and services from gold, steel, aluminum, etc., they're traded in dollars. And these countries know over the last 50 plus years, they lose millions and millions in dollars when they have to either pay back the Fed or they have to buy more capital goods, whether it's oil, gold, etc. And it's a seesaw, right? And it's a never-ending game.
Mhm.
And as the dollar accelerates up, like it did last year, right, when it hit almost, I think it was like almost $1.15 a dollar. What happens to the price
The
of oil?
DX1.
Yeah, the price of oil pumps. And then all of these countries that owe the U.S. money, their paper currency does this. And then
Goes down.
now they have to pay back a much huger balance than they would have, and it takes even more time, and it seems like it's an impossibility to ever reach that goal. And Bitcoin fixes this, right? Look at El Salvador.
Bitcoin fixes this.
El Salvador.
Let's move on. I got another thing I want to share with you. Hit the video, Nick. Just because Jerry is the crypto oracle, man. If you're not following him in his private Telegram, he puts out quality information. Jerry's always ahead of the curve. And last week we talked about this, and I just want to give bring this back to showing how smart you are. Once again, you'd made note of this that Bitcoin supports renewable energy development, and now the brainiacs at Cornell University are backing up what the crypto oracle Jerry has been saying for a while here, documenting Bitcoin out with the story. The study by Cornell University finds that Bitcoin mining can support renewable energy development. Your thoughts, Gerald?
Hashtag duh. So like we stated in the last show, and Samson reiterates this point time and time again, any country that has stranded energy, whether it's wind, solar, dam, it doesn't matter. Bitcoin incentivizes this, right? Bitcoin is the carbon credit. It is the end all and be all of money, right? Like that's what people don't understand. The first iteration of paper money happened almost 1,000 years ago. It took about 500 years for paper money to leave mainland China and reach Europe. It took about 500 years, right? And let's take another step back on that point right there, right? Let's look at oil, right? For probably almost 1,000+ years, the only thing we knew we could do with oil is two things, right? We could either set it on fire and light your room, right? Or you could use it to cook something, right? That was about it, right? Bitcoin throws all of that on its head, and it's already 1,000 years ahead where oil was. So it is the greatest invention in the history of human civilization, hands down. And like I stated last show, when has any state, country, or individual fought an emergent technology in one, right? If we roughly go over the last 2,000 years of human history really quickly, right? The Chinese invent gunpowder, right? And they use it mostly for ceremonial purposes, scare the spirits, etc. Then fast forward, or actually, let's back it up. Let's back it up even more. Let's go back to cavemen. Sticks and stones, right? First it was sticks and stones, right? That's all we had, right? And then somebody came along.
They break your bones, but they'll never hurt me.
Exactly. Sticks and stones were the first weapons, right? And then obsidian. They started using obsidian, and they could make knives out of that, right? So all the civilizations that started using obsidian, they literally leapfrogged went right over the civilizations that were just using sticks and stones, right? And then
Right over 'em.
literally the Bronze Age came, and then someone figured out we could take this malleable metal and form it into a weapon, right? And then those civilizations steamrolled over the obsidian civilizations, literally. And then we get to the Iron Age, and then those people smoke the Bronze Age people, right? And then the Japanese figure out, oh, if we mix in carbon and iron and a few other things, we can make carbonized steel, right? And then those civilizations smoke the Iron Age sword civilization.
All right. I get the history lesson. I get where we're going here.
Yeah.
So all of that ties back to hardware wallets and crypto wallets. How?
Exactly. So fast forward through, we'll skip the, bells turned into cannons and then cannons turned into rifles and all that.
Let's fast forward on this.
Fast forward. And again, Jason Lowry, major, because I forgot to give him his credentials. He is a Major Lowry, is correct, right? This is a soft power play. If the United States really wants to protect the dollar, they needed to be doing two things. They need to have a Bitcoin wallet with a lot of Bitcoin in it. We have that. Good on you, Joe. Number two is you need to have a mining operation. You need to have a decentralized mining operation to protect those assets, and then to always have that revenue stream coming in. And that, again, that incentivization layer of your economy then starts to take some of that power away from the government, and then initially over time gives that power back to the people, etc.
Right. And you talk about, we kicked this off talking about hardware wallets, web wallets, crypto wallets. And I think the idea for a lot of us, why we want to have our own wallet is for sovereignty, for wealth. And one metric that you brought up last week that I think ties to that is the graph with HODL waves, because that shows people who are holding onto their Bitcoin, who are self-custodying their Bitcoin using hardware wallets or whatever kind of wallet. So walk us through this graph, if you could, when it comes to the HODL waves and how that relates to folks and their hardware wallets or their crypto wallets in general.
Yeah. So, I do want to mention, if you go to my Twitter feed or Zitter or X, there is a link to my Medium page where I do have an article about HODL waves and go into details about this. I think it was in 2020 when I wrote that article, but there is a link on my Twitter page. But as I stated last week, and in that article, that these purple HODL waves over the next 2 to 4 years will start to grow larger and larger. And as you can clearly see, that's what we're seeing, right? You can see this huge, big purple HODL wave. And as I stated in the last show,
this right in here,
yes,
is kind of what we're talking
exactly. About. This big section right here. This means, and if you look at the top, you can see the chart right at the very top. It's a blue shifted, goes from the blue shifted range to the red shifted range all the way on the right. And as you can see, the purple colors are people that have been holding their Bitcoin for 10 plus years.
Yeah, 10 years, 10 plus years.
So that means
you kind of see it really start. You see this, you look at the start of the purple HODL wave right here. It starts about 2018, 2019, right there is when you really see a lot of it.
Exactly.
And I think this was about here. This peak here is 17 at about 20,000. And that's where folks like myself and others got into the game in the 2017 era. And so, we've hodled.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you see this is also, I think, reflective and indicative of the awareness and the knowledge of Bitcoin and people starting to understand the value prop and what it means. And they're like, oh my goodness. That's why you see these HODL waves getting deeper and deeper. And you look at this all the way down to like $100 here in 2022, people were hodling hard.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard hodl.
Yeah, and again, if we look at that key at the top,
Wow.
you don't see any red or orange, which is like means people are
24 hours. Yeah.
yeah,
You don't see
nobody's just buying and selling and buying and selling and buying and selling. That is indicative of, again, people holding on to their assets. And as you can see, this chart is amazing. Yes, as Nick's pointing out, the sovereign individual is making a stand, and that number is getting larger and larger. I did look at Glassnode earlier as well, and I did notice that active wallets were close to being at an all-time high again. So I mean, anyone who's bearish right now, it's your money, but I would close those shorts. I'm just saying. Let me pull up. I just had a trading view chart. Let me pull that up real quick. Give me a sec.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. There it is. Trading view. Boom. And if you see this chart, is it up? Because I know that always jumps the screen. There we go.
Yeah, it's up.
I mean, look at this. Look at this chart, man. This is a very big bull flag we got forming here. And if you look
up near the top there,
yeah, and you look
up near that top left hand or top right hand corner, yeah, bull flag.
Little see this candle right here with a big wick at the top and the bottom. This is called a spinning doji. And
can you get a little bit bigger on that, Jared? Because I can't see it from.
Let me see if I can. Let's see.
Let me try full screen. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Now I see you moving. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Open that up. Get in there, doctor, and open it up. We want to see the good stuff, man.
So these are called.
Yeah. See, this is the bull flag you're talking about here in this top corner.
This corner right here.
Right.
But you can see these are called spinning dojis. And anytime you see like a bunch of them, like especially like this one, these are very positive signals. Obviously, if you see these and Bitcoins are going down, very negative, and you will see those, you can see those throughout a chart, any chart you see. But as you can see, like, let's just use this as an example as previous, you can see one right here, and then what happens? Boom, right? So
big candle.
It's not going to happen instantaneously, but in my opinion, like I said last week, from the hash rate chart that I saw, and with this chart, and again, I think I do have a tweet from a gentleman the other day. Let me see if I can share that one too. Boom. Twitter. Let's see. It's this one. Yeah, we have another. I sold all my corn, people. Thank you. Thank you for locking in the Christmas pump. So yeah, I said last week's show that there's probably going to be a pump between 1220 and 1225, and this guy guaranteed it. Thank you for that. I appreciate you playing, and the Bitcoin community enjoys your donation. Because after he made this, it did pump to 42, and I think he got burnt. So I don't know if he had a short open, but he's not buying in it lower. Yeah. Keep waiting for that 12K, guys. Keep waiting. Like I said, like I said back in August, 15 was the bottom. Are we getting a little? The internet slow?
No.
Sorry.
I was just pulling something up there. Well, that's a lot to unpack when it comes to wallets. We got a history lesson from the crypto oracle, taking us all the way back to the beginning of gunpowder and caveman times. And you walked us all the way through that. And
you know what? Let's take a look at want to show you guys a little something before we head out. Let me see. Let me pull up. My share screen
better be disc golf
weird.
related.
There we go. Like I have to hit it like 3 times.
Is this disc golf related? I hope it is.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. No, this isn't disc golf related. But as you can see, this was the all-time high from November, and then we had a matching like wave right here, as you can see. And this was that retracement that I talked about last week. So don't be surprised if we did see some pullback, but as you can see, it's setting itself up for another move upwards, and it's going to be pushing, you know, into the 650 exahashes in the next, I don't know, let's see, month or two. I mean, it's just going to keep going higher and higher. Like, let's look here. Here's an all time, right? So here's the bull run of 17 right in here. Right?
It's so tiny.
Here's the bull run at 2020 here, right? Hash rate has literally gone from, I think it was like 87 exahashes right down in here to well over actually old, right? So it's done almost a 6x in hash power since the Great China Migration. So the fact that the price has just started moving up is very bullish. And again, I know we're only up like 120%, but anybody that thinks it's just going to fall off a cliff, here's the all-time hash rate chart. Do you see that? Let me circle that again on the chart for you. The Great China Migration is right here. We're never going back to these ranges again. People thinking, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's not ever hit $100,000. $100,000 is the bare minimum to hit.
Hey, speaking of that, you want a little incentive? Here's something from Squawk Box this morning, CNBC, and Michael Sonnenschein from Coinbase. I'm sorry, not Coinbase, but Grayscale. Talking to the folks over there at Squawk on the Street this morning. Check this out.
Hey, here with us now for a look at the crypto industry heading a year. Michael Sonnenschein, Grayscale.
Okay, sir.
CEO. We got crypto super PAC things done. Maybe that's what's next. Maybe that's Congress to finally do something. Michael, you part of this?
So that was actually just announced this morning. You know, for us at Grayscale over the last year, we've spent, I can't even tell you how many weeks on the Hill, really ensuring that we're advocating for our investors and making sure that as our regulators are looking at crypto, they're doing so through a really informed lens. So for us, it's really been more about edging.
Do you think the easy gains have been made at people? What was happening with Bitcoin was it moved from 25 to, I think it almost got to 40 at one point. But now, you know, we're talking about 41,000. Even gold, I think, was through 2,100, and it failed in trying to do that. This was all interest rate related and pivot, and the perception that eases next year with some cut. When does it refocus on a spot F? And do you expect that to get things moving again?
Well, I think if you look back at this year, the appreciation you've seen in Bitcoin has really been driven by both the macro and micro forces. I think you're right on the macro front. Inflationary pressures, rising rates have caused investors to think about Bitcoin as a store of value or, you know, a hedge in their portfolios. But on the micro front, you know, earlier this summer when our court victory, I think that certainly unlocked a lot of optimism amongst about GBTC and the prospects for it to uplist as a spot bit. So as we turn the corner into the new year, I know there's a lot of focus on that from the investment community.
The 65, then 100,000. I don't know what you think is in the cards, but what do you think it's already in the asset right now, if you want to call it, already there?
It's an
once that
asset.
happens,
You're an
do you
idiot.
expect it
It's an asset.
to
Commodities
go
are
new
an
highs,
asset.
or it just seems like we've already
Agreed.
paid a lot
Turds.
of it forward with the move we saw from, I mean, it was as low as 17,000 last.
You work at CNBC. You
this
don't know what a
year,
fucking
sure.
asset
Well,
is.
you know, Joe, I'm not one to make price predictions, but I do think there is a lot of optimism again in the market. A lot of investors are adding Bitcoin to their portfolios, and when we look ahead to the hopeful approval for spot Bitcoin ETFs, it really is going to be opportunity to a part of the investment community that, for better or worse, but I would say for worse, unfortunately been locked out of the opportunity to participate in having Bitcoin exposure portfolios. So we're really talking about the advised market here in the US, which is today about $30 trillion worth of advised wealth. The approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs, the uplisting of GBTC will allow for that opportunity.
Whoa. Hold on. I just want to, hold on. We got,
The super PAC.
he said, so we're all clear, 30 trillion. That's trillion with a T. That's beyond billion, right? Trillions come after billions. Is that what I remember from school? Okay, 30 trillion freaking dollars. None of us are ready for this. None of us. Hold on a second.
Nobody.
You know what? Hold on a minute.
Yeah. Go get your helmet. Exactly. Put your helmet on. Yeah. There you go. Now you got it.
Now I'm ready for 30 trillion fucking dollars, son and shine. Let's go. Send this thing to the fucking moon. Bags are packed, ready to roll. When somebody offers you a ticket on a rocket ship, you just say, thank you, buckle up. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. Strap in. Exactly. Like, again, now people are starting to realize there's a lot of money that is coming for this ETF, and there is a finite supply of Bitcoin, right? The supply of gold will keep going up.
Bitcoin is not an asset. I mean,
yeah,
gold's
that
an
is
asset.
mind-boggling. Yeah.
Commodities are an asset.
Again,
you work at CNBC. Fucking clown show, man. I'm sorry.
And
I
again,
gotta go take a Xanax and a Bud Light. Okay.
The CEO from VanEck, right? He clearly pointed this out to the TradFi people the other day. He said, Bitcoin's not a bubble. Bubbles don't go back to their all-time price and break through it and go higher, right? Bitcoin is not a bubble. This is not a bubble. The tulip people, again, shut up with your tulip bulbs.
Right, Gerald, you're not saying it right. It's a booble. It's a booble. Remember, that's how our good friend Nuriel Rabini.
It's a booble.
It's a booble.
Rabini is a booble.
Where's that? Do we have a clip of Nuriel going booble? It's a booble. It's not Michael Bublé.
Another story
crazy.
that nobody's talking about, and I shared it the other day, and it didn't get a lot of airplay, and I haven't verified this, but around the rumor mill, Tether is working with authorities to track down crime, right? Tether is working with the FBI, the Treasury Department, and etc. So all these people that think Tether's going to be taken out, doesn't sound like that. Sounds like Tether's sounds like Tether's working with the government all of a sudden. Wonder why? Because like I said last week, Bitcoin doesn't need the dollar. The dollar needs Bitcoin, and that proves it right there. And that's pretty much it, y'all. I think that was a great show. I do want to thank. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just agreeing with you. I'm like,
Oh, well, sorry. I want to thank MattySats, the man, the myth, the legend. I want to thank Nick and everyone at Bitcoin Live. Obviously, Shieldfolio. I want to thank our new sponsor, Shieldfolio. I want to thank Quantum Economics. I want to also thank Roundly X. And anybody interested in becoming a sponsor of the show, hit us up. We would love to have you on. And again, have a great Christmas.
There's a big Christmas special. The big Christmas
special. The
yes.
Christmas special. There's going to be a lot of giveaways. It's coming up. So go to Bitcoin Live, subscribe, like, hit all that fun stuff so you know when the giveaways are coming, and have a great Christmas holiday and have a great New Year. I love you all. And stack sats, stay safe and hodl, as my friend would say.
Done.